11:47 p.m. The penthouse kitchen should have been empty. Raymond Foster pushed open the door, toolbox in hand, expecting nothing more than marble counters and a leaky faucet. Instead, he froze. There she was. Nora Ashford. The CEO who never smiled. The woman who could freeze an entire boardroom with one raised eyebrow. The one nobody dared to approach. And she was sitting on the floor, completely shattered. Her silk pajamas clung to her like she had forgotten she was wearing them. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. Her arms wrapped tightly around her knees as if she was trying to keep herself from falling apart even more. A single birthday candle flickered on a small cake, one candle, for no one. Raymond's breath caught when he saw the photograph behind her. A little girl with dark curls and a smile bright enough to light up the whole room. The resemblance was so strong that a chill ran through him. Nora's head snapped up. Their eyes locked. Her pain hit him like a punch. His toolbox slipped from his hands and hit the tile with a loud metal crash. She didn't scream. She didn't bark orders. She didn't throw him out. Her voice came out like a broken whisper, trembling and small. Please, forget what you saw. Forget? There was no way he could ever forget this. Not the raw grief in her eyes, not the desperate tremble in her shoulders, not the worn child-sized bracelet peeking from her sleeve. He wanted to say something comforting, anything at all. But grief had a way of stealing words from your mouth, leaving only silence behind. Nora wiped her face quickly, trying to rebuild her armor right in front of him. Her movements were stiff, practiced, mechanical. Like she'd done this 1,000 times and hated every second of it. The leak is in the other room, she said. Her tone had switched back to that cold CEO voice, but it cracked at the edges. Just fix it and leave. Raymond nodded, though his heart felt heavy. He stepped away, giving her the space she was fighting to reclaim. While repairing the corroded pipe under the sink, he kept seeing flashes of her sitting on that cold marble floor. The candle. The cake. The photograph. The devastation she'd tried so hard to hide. When he finished, she was gone. The cake? Gone. The candle? Gone. The photograph? Still there, but turned around, facing the wall. It felt like she was trying to erase the moment. Erase her pain. Erase herself. Back home, Raymond checked on his daughter, Chloe, sleeping peacefully in her small room. Her tiny chest rose and fell softly, her stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm. He whispered goodnight and brushed a curl from her forehead. But his mind kept drifting back to Nora, alone, hurting, drowning in a heaviness she couldn't escape. He lay awake for hours, replaying the moment again and again. He didn't know why, but something inside him, something old, something wounded, knew this wasn't the end of their story. This was the beginning. The next morning, Raymond dragged himself to work, exhausted but determined to stay invisible, like he always did. He checked his schedule, grabbed his tools, and stayed far away from the executive floor. But fate didn't care about his plans. At exactly 9:24 a.m., he felt her before he saw her. Nora Ashford stepped out of her office, smooth and polished as ever. Not a single hair out of place. Not a single crack visible. She walked past the glass corridor, frosty, perfect, unreachable. But their eyes met for a split second. And in that tiny moment, Raymond saw everything she tried to bury. The exhaustion. The loneliness. The grief. She looked away instantly, but her hand dipped slightly toward the bracelet on her wrist, a small, delicate piece clearly meant for a child. His heart twisted. Over the next week, Raymond did everything he could to avoid her. He used service stairs instead of elevators. He timed his routes to avoid the executive floor. He kept his head down. It didn't matter. Life kept pushing them into each other's orbit. 3 days later, while repairing a jammed printer, his phone buzzed. Chloe's daycare, she had fallen and scraped her knee. She was crying for him. He rushed to the elevator, anxious and frustrated. The elevator doors opened, and there she was. Nora. Cold, perfect, unreadable. She stepped inside. Silence filled the elevator like thick fog. Raymond's phone buzzed again, a photo from the daycare. Chloe's scraped knee. Her small face wet with tears. His sweet girl trying to look brave but failing miserably. His heart cracked open. Is everything all right? Nora's voice broke the silence, soft, almost warm. He showed her the picture. Something inside her froze. Her eyes widened. She stared at Chloe like the little girl was a ghost from her past. How old is she? Nora whispered. 6, he said softly. Just turned 6. Pain flashed across her face, so fast he almost missed it. The elevator dinged, and Nora stepped out quickly. But he knew something had changed. He wasn't supposed to see her like that. She wasn't supposed to care. Yet here they were. And the air between them felt like a storm waiting to break. Raymond began noticing things about Nora he'd never seen before. She paused at the daycare window every time she passed it. Her eyes softened, just a little, watching the kids laugh and run around. Once, he caught her kneeling beside a boy who'd dropped his toy cars. She helped him gather them, gentle and patient, nothing like the cold, ruthless CEO people feared. Who was she, really? He was beginning to understand. One afternoon, while replacing lights in the parking garage, he heard her voice echoing sharply. She wasn't alone. You can't keep living like this, Nora, a man yelled. It's been 5 years. 5 years. Raymond froze behind a pillar. Nora snapped back, do not tell me how to grieve. The man, tired, sad, clearly family, said softly, Olivia wouldn't want this. A sharp gasp tore from Nora's throat, a sound that wasn't meant to be heard by anyone. Then footsteps. Fast. Panicked. She ran. Raymond's chest tightened. He understood now. Olivia was the little girl in the photograph. Olivia was the birthday cake. Olivia was the bracelet. Back home that night, Chloe asked, Daddy, why doesn't someone help the sad queen in your story? He didn't know what to say. Then she drew something. A rainbow with 3 stick figures holding hands. You should give this to her, Chloe said. Maybe she'll feel less lonely. Raymond felt warmth rise in his chest, a warmth he hadn't felt in years. The next morning, he left a drawing for Nora. At 4:30 p.m., his supervisor called. You've been requested. Penthouse. By name. His heart raced. He walked into the penthouse. Nora stood by the window, holding Chloe's drawing like it was a fragile treasure. Your daughter made this, she whispered. He nodded. She thought you looked sad. Nora swallowed hard. Children, see what adults try to hide. Then she held out a photograph of Olivia. Her daughter. Raymond listened as she finally said her name out loud, Olivia, and told him how she died. How her marriage fell apart. How she drowned herself and worked to survive. He told her about Lauren, his wife. About his own grief. His own loneliness. Nora whispered, Does it ever stop hurting? Raymond shook his head. No, but you grow around it. Something inside her cracked, quietly, painfully. And for the first time since losing her daughter, she let someone in. When Nora asked to meet Chloe, Raymond felt nervous, but Chloe, of course, was thrilled. Nora opened the penthouse door on Saturday wearing jeans and a soft sweater, looking almost normal. Human. Nervous. Chloe rushed in, talking a mile a minute, and Nora actually laughed. A real laugh. Soft. Surprised. Almost shy. Chloe handed her a new drawing. This one's even better, she said proudly. See? That's you, Daddy, and me. Nora's eyes filled with tears. Would you like to help me hang it on my fridge? She asked. Chloe beamed. Pizza arrived. They talked. They laughed. Chloe's innocence broke Nora open in places she didn't know were still breakable. Then Chloe asked, "Do you have a kid?" Raymond's heart stopped. Nora swallowed hard. "I did. Her name was Olivia." "Did she go to heaven with my mommy?" "Yes," Nora whispered. Chloe climbed into her lap and hugged her with all the love in her tiny heart. "You don't have to be lonely anymore," she said. Nora cried, quietly, openly, holding on to the warmth she had run from for years. When Raymond walked home that night with Chloe asleep on his shoulder, he realized something huge. Nora didn't just need them. He needed her too. Weeks passed. Sundays in the park became routine. Chloe on the swings. Nora walking beside Raymond. Conversations flowing easily. Nora slowly thawed. She smiled more. Talked more. Laughed more. She even hung Lauren's picture next to Olivia's on her wall, something Raymond never imagined she'd do. One evening, while washing dishes together, Nora said softly, "You gave me my life back." Raymond shook his head. "We healed each other." She looked nervous. Hopeful. "I want to try something real. Something permanent." Before he could answer, Chloe ran up yelling, "Daddy! There's a rainbow!" They looked up. A perfect rainbow stretched across the sky. Chloe squeezed their hands. "See? Rainbows connect sad people to happy ones." Nora looked at Raymond, her eyes soft, full of new hope. "Yes," she whispered. "They do." Then she kissed him, slow, warm, trembling, with the kind of courage only broken hearts learn to have. Months later, their lives had merged slowly, gently. Chloe called her Nora now. Raymond had a drawer in the penthouse. Nora had a key to his apartment. The empty rooms inside all of them were starting to feel full again. At Christmas, they placed 3 photos on the wall. Lauren, Olivia, and the 3 of them smiling under a rainbow. Healing wasn't perfect. Some days were still hard. Some nights still heavy. But they weren't doing it alone anymore. The day they stood in front of family and friends, making it official, Chloe insisted on speaking. "We're not sad people who got happy," she said proudly. "We're sad people who learned to be happy together." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Later that night, Raymond held Nora close and whispered, "Sometimes the best doors are the ones we open by mistake." She laughed softly, tears in her eyes. "And sometimes the people who save us are the ones we never expected to meet." They weren't perfect. They weren't healed. But they were whole. Together. And that was enough.